Hi everyone, my name is Arifa Fatima. I'm from Hyderabad. I'm a teacher at WhiteHat Jr. and I teach different types of coding languages to kids. Master Coder series is India's first live coding session wherein you will witness a kid making an AI application within 30 minutes. So I welcome you all to the second episode of Master Coder series. Now, let me introduce you to our master coder for today. 11 years old Beela Saswath is a coding maverick and has completed 144 classes, learning 3 coding languages across 6 coding platforms with more than 300 hours of coding. Shashwat is going to create an AI face filter app and will show you the skills he has learned during the course at WhiteHat Jr. So now over to you, Shashwat.
Okay, ma'am. Hi, everyone. My name is Beela Sai Saswath. I am studying in grade 7 in Oak Ridge International School, Visakhapatnam. Everybody has seen the Snapchat filters, right? There are a lot of filters, and you also have your own camera or a few apps like B216 which have camera filters. So, like that, today we are going to make a clown nose filter. I'm going to show you a live preview of how it is, and then I'm going to move on to the code. So here it is going to ask you to use your camera. You have to click allow. And then it will actually put the clown nose onto your nose. You move left, you move right, it will follow you everywhere. You click take snapshot and it will load the pic into your computer. So now I'm going to show you the code and I'm going to explain it to you.
Great.
So this is the code, and we are going to start with the HTML. We'll move on to the CSS and the JS. I've completed the HTML and CSS as we are going to focus more on the functionality or the JS part. And the HTML and CSS is already before done. I've completed it before. So now the filter.html, I'm going to explain you what is there in it. HTML's full form is Hypertext Markup Language, and this is where you can add in components into your web app, and you can actually, and it'll actually show all the components that you've added in the app or website. We always start off with a HTML tag, and we're going to open and close, and then we're going to put in the head, which means that it's going to be on top. And I've written my title as Real-Time Filter Web App using PoseNet Neural Network. PoseNet is something that estimates your poses. Like whenever you connect it into your whenever you connect it into your website or app, it will scan your face and show you the different coordinates of your actual face. And it shows you coordinates, for example, like a left elbow, right elbow, your nose, etc. So PoseNet is one of the most accurate coordinate telling widget. So I'm using PoseNet here. If you want, you can write down any other title that you want to. The next links that you see here, all of these links are called bootstrap links. You're asking me what's bootstrap? I'll tell you. Bootstrap actually means that is a widget which has links for every single type of app. It actually makes your website more responsive and it fits to the user's personalities, and it actually makes your website more responsive. It works in more faster. Moving on, we are going to now connect in our filter.css because that filter.css is the file that I'm using for my CSS. If you want to rename it to anything else, you can rename and write down that name in the reference. And now I'm going to put in the P5 and ML5 links, which are these two lines. You're asking me what's P5 and ML5, I'll explain. The P5 library has a lot of components, for example, like buttons, labels, etc. And it helps in making your website look more good. And also P5JS helps in connecting in webcams, etc. And the ML5 library has a lot of different soundtracks, pictures, etc. And ML5 also contains PoseNet. So PoseNet is a widget in the ML5 library. So I have taken PoseNet from ML5 library. That is the end of our head. Moving on to the body, that is where you use up your whole area for the website, and it's gonna show it everywhere. So the body, in the background, I have taken a background.jpg, which is this white background. If you want, you can pick another background in Google. You can download it and put down the link here. And I've clicked and I've centered this, whatever the components are, I've centered them because they always look good in the center than on the sides. Don't you agree? So now I have the heading tag, which is the first thing. It's called heading 3, heading type 3. And I've written class button info because button info's color is light blue, and I'm going to use light blue. If you don't like light blue, you can pick on any other color. And I've written the text as real-time filter for now. If you want, you can change it to anything else. And now I have break in this because BR means break, which means that it's going to leave a line gap and it's going to put the other component. I've written button on click and take snapshot, which means that whenever we click on the button, it's going to take orders from the take snapshot. And I've written class button success, which means that it's going to give it a color of green. I've written take snapshot as the text on the button. If you want, you can type anything else that you want. And I've closed my center tag because those are the components which I'm going to use in the HTML. And now I've linked in my JS because filter.js is the file that I'm using for my filter web app. If you want, you can rename and write down its name, whatever the other new file that you want. You can close the body and HTML tag and your HTML is done. So, ma'am, any doubts?
Beela, I just want to see how how the color it's been showcasing on the headings like real-time filter and take snapshot. You're telling that button info is light gray or green, or button success is something like blue. So can I see that color in the output which you have shown in the output? Can you please show me that? It would be very better.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't know about this, right? So I need to see what the colors. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to present my screen so that you can see that too. Yes, ma'am. So these are the colors that I'm showing you right now. So basic is going to come as a gray kind of color. It is basically nothing. The default color means white, and dot primary means a dark bluish color, as you can see here. Button success is what we've used, and it's showing a green color here. Your button info shows a light blue color here, and that one is what I've used for my heading, and success is what we've used for our button. If you want any other colors, we have button warning, which is yellow. We have button danger, which is red, and button link is normally for inserting links in. So those are the different those are the different types of colors that you can get. And now moving on.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So if those are all the questions, now we can move on to the JS or the CSS. Okay, so this is the CSS, and here we have two things, which is the HT and canvas. Normally, filter.css means cascading style sheet. As it is already there in the heading, cascading style sheet allows you to style your components which are written in the HTML. So I have styled my H3, which is my heading type 3, and my canvas over here, which I'm going to define in my filter.js. So for my H3, I've written my font size as 25 pixels. And for my canvas, I've taken my border as 2 pixels dash black, which means that around my canvas, the border is going to be of 2 pixels thick, and it's going to be a full black, and the lines type is going to be dashed. So any doubts here, ma'am?
What is canvas, Beela?
Canvas is basically where you can put in pictures, drawings, videos, etc. So that I'm going to explain in the JS, where we're going to use this canvas to input our video. Okay, so I guess that's it for CSS. Moving on to the JS part.
Sure.
Here I haven't completed everything. So we are going to finish off everything that I have left. And we're going to complete, and I'm going to show you a live preview afterwards too. And I'm also going to show you some extra stuff, like whenever you're testing, there might be some problems. So I'm going to show you how you can troubleshoot all those problems again. Moving on, we are going to start off by defining our x-axis coordinates, which is the nose x. I have written x for my variable. If you want, you can write down anything else. Variables are where you can define something for afterwards. Like you can define it as the 0, which is the x-axis coordinates. The nose x means x-axis coordinates of our nose, and nose y means y-axis coordinates of our nose. I have defined it as 0 for now, and afterwards we are going to define it to anything else. Moving on, function. In every place I've written function, as you can see. So you're asking me what that function means. Function basically allows you to define something. Like I told you last time that we are going to write order for take snapshot. So if you write function, that means that it is going to take snapshot, and whatever we write in take snapshot, it is going to do that job for us. It's going to follow that order. So function preload I've written. Normally preload means that everything should be loaded in before the app starts before the app is used or the website is in testing. So I've written preload. In preload I've written clown nose, and I've loaded the image from Google. If you want, you can pick any other nose, like instead of clown nose, you can write anything else and pick another picture from Google if you want to. And then I've written function setup, which means that it has to be set up before the app is being used or it's being run. So in function, I have centered my canvas, but I haven't created a canvas yet. So here we're going to create our canvas. I'm going to explain to you what that means very quickly. So I've written canvas equals create canvas 300 and 300. So I've defined this canvas, which is this definition. Whatever this canvas is, I've defined it. That means that canvas is a variable, and I've defined it. I've given it a definition. I've given it meaning. And I've written create canvas 300, 300. I've written 300, 300 because the first one is always length. Second one will be width, and the third one will be height. It's a rule. Height is only used for 3D shapes, but here we're only going to make 2D. So I'm only going to use length and width, which is 300 and 300. So it is obviously going to be a square. So I've centered my canvas here because, as I said in the HTML, I like it in the center instead of the sides. So I've written canvas.center, which is going to center it. If you want, you can change the alignment to left or right. It's your wish. And I've written video equals create capture video, which means that this video is going to be like a backup thing, and it's going to be get ready. And like I said, I talked about PoseNet. So here we're going to connect PoseNet for the live video. This is going to be a backup video. If we define this, we can use this video for our PoseNet. I'll write down the PoseNet lines and you'll understand it more clearly. And now I'm going to give my video size as 300 and 300, which is the size of the canvas, length and width, like I said. I have given it the exact same size of the canvas because it looks good in the exact size. If you want, you can increase or decrease, but it doesn't look too good if you like decrease it or increase it. So I've given it the exact size. And I've written video.hide, which is, this is like not the live video that is here. So I'm hiding up this backup video. And now whenever I'm going to write the PoseNet lines, then it's going to connect in to my actual live video. I'll write down the PoseNet lines and I'll quickly explain to you what that means. Okay, so I've written PoseNet equals ml5.posenet video, model loaded. So this PoseNet, which equals to ML5, means that obviously I told you last time that PoseNet was from ML5 library. So I'm going to write ML5.posenet, which means it's going to take PoseNet from the ML5 library. And this video, which means that it's going to take this video's properties. I've defined some stuff for video, like I said before, it's going to create capture video, the size, and it's going to hide. So it's going to follow that property, and it's going to give a model loaded function, which is this function. We're slowly getting to that. I'm going to write the second line, which is going to help us recall and going to define. Okay, so I've written PoseNet.on and in apostrophes pose, comma God pose. I've written this PoseNet because that is the same variable as this PoseNet. So because I defined this variable PoseNet, I'm going to write down the same PoseNet there. And I'm going to recall. Dot on is going to help recall this definition. It's going to call back, and now we are going to give it an order to do. I've written pose and got pose, which means that it's going to call back our video and it's going to show it in the canvas. And function model loaded means that whenever PoseNet is loaded in, what should we do? So we define that as in the console.log, PoseNet is initialized. I've written PoseNet is initialized for now. If you want, you can write anything else afterwards. And I have written console.log, and I will show you how to access your console.log in the last live preview. Moving on to function draw. In function draw, that is where we are going to define everything for our cloud nose. So I'll quickly write down the lines and I'm going to explain to you what that means too. It's going to show up in green like this whenever you write image. So go to the capital I, backspace, and write a small I there. And again, come back into your brackets and start typing. Okay, so I've written image as video, and that means it's going to follow and it's going to give these for the video, whatever the live video that we've defined before. And these are called the coordinate borders, which is whatever this first one I've written is the starting of the x-axis coordinate border. This is the ending of the x-axis coordinate border. This is the starting of y-axis coordinate border, and this is the ending of y-axis coordinate border. So for the x-axis and y-axis, I have written 0 to 300 and y-axis also 0 to 300. So that it's going to come exactly in those given borders. Next, I've written image cloud nose, comma nose x, comma nose y, comma 28, comma 28. I've written nose x and nose y, and I've written cloud nose because cloud nose is what we're going to define here. And I've written nose x and nose y, which means it's going to take coordinates from the given variable that we've used, nose x and nose y. And 28 and 28 is the length and width of the nose size. So whatever the nose size that we're going to need is the 28 length and 28 width. If you want, you can change it afterwards to anything. And you can also check it up in your live preview. That is the end of function draw. Coming to the new function take snapshot, and here which we've already defined in the HTML, take snapshot. There it's actually going to save it in. So we have to write down save, and we're going to write down mighty filter image dot png. For now, I'm writing mighty filter image.png. If you want, you can write anything else. Afterwards, you can name it anything else. And this huge thing is gonna come in green, so you can just backspace that and write down save, because that's always a default setting. It always shows up huge variables, but that's not what we need. So I'm going to again write down save mighty filter image.png. Moving on, we next have, this is the last function, which is called got pose results. Got pose results means that whenever we are going to write down our whenever we are going to write down our results, it's going to recall everything from the app and it's going to give us the actual results. And I have written an if statement. If the results length is greater than 0, then it's actually going to work. Without the if statement, my app will crash, because obviously the length is supposed to be more than 0. But if I haven't defined this, when will the console.log results show up? They won't. So I have to write down the if statement, or else it's not going to show you anything. And in console.log results, we are now going to define nose x, because in these two lines, as you can see, nose x equals to plus nose x. This nose x we've defined, but it comes on our nose and we need our nose coordinates, but it's going to show 0, and that's not going to look good. So we're going to now define nose x and nose y. Okay, so this is the nose X that we've written. This nose X has a results of 0. So if it is greater than 0, it's going to bring in the dot pose, which means our PoseNet dot nose dot X, which is the nose X. I've written minus 15 because I will explain to you later. This nose Y also we're going to define. It is the same thing. All we have to do is write down nose Y in place of this. In place of this X, we're going to write down nose Y. Let me just write it down for you. I'll quickly explain. So now you must be asking why I've written minus 15, right? Like normally whenever you write down the coordinates, a problem occurred for me. So like it's coming on the side, it's coming on the right side for me. So I have to change that, and it can also come on the left side. That problem might occur for some people. If it is exactly on the nose, you don't have to write minus 15. If it comes on the right side, the x-axis moves towards this side. So whenever you minus 15, it moves back, which means that if it is on the right side, it's going to move to the left. And the y-axis also, if it is going up, if you minus 15, it comes down. So whenever it comes down, it's going to come exactly onto your nose. So you have to minus 15 nose X and nose Y if it is on the right. If it is on the left, you have to plus 15 so that it moves to the right, because in the minus section, it always moves to the left. So whenever you write plus 15, it'll move to the right and it'll come exactly onto your nose. You do that for nose Y also, even though it's coming on the sides, you define nose Y also, and it's going to work exactly for you. So now we are going to test this live preview. I'm going to just save this and I'm going to show you the live preview now. We are going to now preview this, and I'm also going to show you how to access console.log so that it actually works. Okay. Access this. Okay. So I have to keep my camera off in the Zoom meeting so that it shows up in my AI filter web app. So I'm going to stop my video here.
Okay.
And now I'm going to present my screen in my filter web app. So as you can see, it is first going to ask you to allow your camera. Here, this is the canvas, as you can see. This is a variable. This is the heading that we've written, and the font size is 25 pixels. It's pretty visible. And this is the take snapshot button in green. As you can see, our components work. Hooray. Now we're going to allow our camera and see if this is going to work. There you go. It works. So this app is working. Now, as I promised, I'm going to show you how to access console.log. First, you're going to right click on your cursor and you're going to inspect. Click on inspect. And elements is going to show up here, but don't click on elements. Click on the console, which is beside elements. That is where you can find your console.log. As you can see, these are all the coordinate results. Like we defined in God pose, we need the actual results of nose X and nose Y. So the results is greater than 1. So it's going to show our every action. Whenever you move to the left, it might show in the below 100. When you keep it straight, it shows above 100, below 200. When you move it towards your right side, it's going to show 200 or above. So that is console.log, and it's if you want to say how my PoseNet is initialized, it's going to be on the very top. It's going to show it on the very top. Going to define it in the first for you, so that it actually shows that it's actually working. Thank you.
Oh, that's great, Beela. You've done the great job. It's good. Excellent. Okay, fine. So, for joining the face filter app, it was amazing, right, Beela? The dot one, so you can replace
Yes,
with the dog and characters, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So again, thank you everyone for joining session. I hope you like the session, and I have got the insight how the kids at WhiteHat Jr are moving towards their dreams. We will be back with a new master coder episode very soon. Stay tuned.